Hello. Welcome to what is going to formally be known as AI in Action. My name is Maurie. I'm here with my husband, Jim. And yes, we are going to be changing this podcast. This podcast has been called AI in Action, Exploring Tomorrow's Tech Today for 4 years now. We have been doing this together for 4 years. And what started out as a podcast so that Jim could have my undivided attention has really grown into something else, but it hasn't grown into what we wanted it to become. So why are we changing AI in Action after doing this for 4 years? We're changing it because there's been some fundamental changes in the world of artificial intelligence. But I'm also going to be honest with you. We have loyal listeners, but we don't have as many listeners as we'd really like. And so we started doing a lot of research and we started doing a lot of soul searching, and we started talking about how would we continue doing this even if we're not reaching a large audience? And the answer for me was no, because while I like educating people on things other than what's in the AI news today and what's this big company doing and what's that big company doing. So you tell me what your opinion is and tell our listeners why after 4 years we're going to be changing the direction of AI in Action, and we're actually renaming it to Beyond Yet. If you can think it, you can create it.
Because I got bored.
Yes. There you go. There's your answer. Jim got
Well, everybody's doing the AI news thing. It's always like, what did somebody say and what country did this and what's China doing that? Everybody's doing that. When we started, I liked reading all the news.
Yeah.
And
You
honestly,
were waking me up first thing in the morning to tell me all the news.
beat me over the head with that for 4
So the day
years.
we die.
Anyway, it's just, for most people, I didn't envision anybody still just doing the news after 4 years.
Right.
I kind of thought it would focus on what I really care about, which is who cares? How do you apply this stuff to something?
Right.
But I tried making how-to videos, and I don't like how-to videos. I even you and I tried some episodes. We talked about doing some series on how-to videos. There's a lot of people doing that too. And again, that's not what we do.
Right.
That's not what I do.
No, I agree. It's not. So
I don't have the attention span to do a how-to video.
I decided on the name Beyond Yet. And the reason that I decided that we're actually going to be changing the name of AI in Action to Beyond Yet is because I have a master's in counseling. I like motivating people to do things that they hadn't thought about doing before or that they don't think they're capable of doing. And that's why I like that name. And also, the other day you were talking to me about what you always told people that worked for you.
Yes, especially when I ran a customer service department.
Yes.
I was the chief operations officer for a company, and I spent a lot of time with customer service. And I always told them, if a customer asks you something and you don't know the answer, you don't say, I don't know. You say, I don't know,
Yes.
but I'll find out. Or I don't know yet, but I will know. But you don't just say, I don't know, because it just cuts it off.
Right.
But
That is not good customer service.
no, but your reasoning sounds a lot better than mine. Yours is about your master's in counseling and all that stuff. Number one, I get bored, but I have an attention problem. I like learning new things. And you and I have talked about this over the years. Because I like learning new things, you guys used to make fun of me, like my security system thing that I built that turned into this design that lasted forever and ever. And it grew.
I think engineers call it design creep.
Yeah, there was more than design creep. The thing is that if I don't keep changing things, then they don't stay interesting. And I got a moth. He's trying to eat my shirt. These things eat holes in my shirts.
That's what happens when you live in a house that's over 100 years old.
That's exactly what happens. Anyway, I like the novelty because it's what gives me that dopamine hit that I need so badly. So I keep changing things for them to be novel. What I learned after you tricked me into getting into education, what I learned is education is a really good place for me to hone how I like to learn.
Right, because there's always something new in education. And we have talked about this a lot. I was in the classroom, I stayed in the classroom for a long time before I became a counselor and so forth and so on. And every single year, you get to start fresh. Every single year. And you even talk about how when you're in education, the calendar means more than it ever did before.
Yep.
Because, like, if we're going to do a pilot program, we could do it this semester. We could do it next semester. I mean, you can always start something new and improved every single semester when you're in education.
What I also learned, together we've got 41 years in education, probably.
Easily.
And if you count, even when I was an engineer,
Did a lot
I
of training.
and did trainings for other engineers. So I've been in education in one way or the other for a really long time. We both have. And the one thing that I learned, first of all, I learned how to label what different educational styles are. I don't like the word disability, but like ADHD.
Right.
I didn't know I had that.
Right. If you had the different, we call them sub pops or whatever, if you have different groups and different learning styles.
And what I learned is that I learned that I've made a lot of adaptations to learn how to learn, because you can't learn something if you're popping around from one thing to the other all the time. That was the problem I always had with my projects. So even when we created the Enhanced Learning Center, our makerspace, I loved it because at first I was changing it constantly, which drove you and the teachers nuts.
Something new every day.
Because I was always adding something new into it because I found something new and cool. Let's do this. Let's do this. That doesn't work.
No.
So I had to step back and go, how do I design this in a way that keeps it fresh, but also allows that consistency you need?
Right. So whenever we decided that we were renaming the podcast, one of the things that I did is I knew that this episode is literally going to be episode 1 of season 5, and it's going to be the introduction to Beyond Yet. And I knew that the only way I was going to keep Jim on task was to write down a list of questions that we need to make sure you get answered as a listener to our regular podcast, because we're not going anywhere and our personalities are not going anywhere and the way that we interact is not going anywhere. But Jim is already starting to get a little bit off task. And so I'm going to ask you a question to try to get you back on task.
Shoot.
Okay. Question is, what you just mentioned how you get off task and how you are constantly trying to learn something, but you don't learn it completely because you get bored with it. So what do you believe has fundamentally changed in that paradigm because of artificial intelligence?
Well, at first, artificial intelligence made it worse because I could go down rabbit holes, and I had dozens of them. But what it's allowed me to do is build to understand my learning style better and build a structure that allowed me to continue to move forward by taking all the things that a lot of my learning style that I didn't realize I had came from academia. But in reality, this isn't just about academia. It's about just learning in general. How do you learn to absorb things? And what it allows me to do is it helps me stay structured of what I'm trying to accomplish. And then it keeps me kind of on task as I move forward.
That's what I noticed. You talk about how you do log files and things like that.
For everything now.
Every project that you're working on that you're utilizing artificial intelligence thing of some sort, be it ChatGPT or Claude or whichever one you're using, you always have it do a log file or something at the end of whenever you get ready to stop the project for the day. And that way, when you come back, you can literally pick the thread back up exactly where you left off.
Yes.
And someone who has attention issues, they forget where they were at on that thread by the time they get back to whatever project it is they're working on.
Because they've got 4 or 5 going at once.
Because they're doing a whole bunch.
I have tried to narrow those down quite a bit, but I do struggle with how do I keep it on task. But anyway,
so
even though it allows me to go down rabbit holes, it also helps me stay structured.
Right. You can go down this rabbit hole, go down that rabbit hole, go down that rabbit hole, and then decide, oh, I'm going to come back to this and know exactly where in the hole you are.
Yes.
Exactly how deep have you gone.
Yes.
And it's because you have found a structure that you are constantly doing when you're communicating with an AI to help you pick that back up.
The structure, actually, I started a long time ago when I worked at Dell. But it's really hard to do if you're doing everything. It becomes a full-time job keeping track of where you are.
Right. Just to make
The
the
AI,
notes and make the list and make the
the AI has
checklist
helped me do that. Anyway,
tremendously. It has. It helps you. It has helped you tremendously. And
yes.
it's helped me too.
You have a little ADD yourself there. I mean, yeah, I may be worse, but you're still an ADD.
I have been with you for 40 years in
Don't
January.
blame it on me. It's not a viral.
It's all
it's
your fault.
not a virus. You didn't catch it from
They
me.
say that you start being like your spouse the longer you
They
are.
also say you look like your pets. So
My hair's curly. Maybe I look a little bit like Sadie Grace. Anyway, so Beyond Yet is going to be something that we are going to start talking about. People who really want to do something and just don't know how to start, don't know how to try, don't have the confidence to do it. It's going to be like something to help motivate a different type of learning, a different type of action that people are doing.
yeah,
Why do you think that people right now don't want to try things that they don't already know? Why does that go away? Because, as a child, I mean, I was watching my granddaughter the other day, and she has learned how to crawl up on a mattress, and the mattress is on the floor. She crawled up on the mattress. She turned around. She didn't turn around right to get down. She fell off the mattress. But guess what? Immediately after she wiped her tear, she crawled back up on the mattress. And so it's like, as we get older and that wonder gets kind of like sucked out of us, as we go through the educational system we have today.
Well, and a lot of things, life starts feeling like a checklist. And that can, I mean, in education, we talk about it with the high stakes testing, but in reality, what do you enjoy versus what do you have to do? And one of the things we talked about a lot when we started talking about redoing this was, I don't want to do how-to videos. What I want to know is, it's sort of the way I used to do things. I would work on a project until I learned what was interesting, and then I would stop.
But you never got your PhD in one thing.
I never went far enough to get my PhD in anything, so to speak.
I love it when you tell people that. We have people walk into the office sometimes and they're like, oh, we're going to go ahead and add this new software program, or, oh, we need to go ahead and do this or do that or do the other. And Jim will look at them and say, okay, what do you want me to get my PhD in?
Well, I ask people that all the time
because we're so small. I mean, we're a small technology department.
And we have technology it's so complex across so many different facets. And we have the same problem here at home when we're working on a project. We have a very old house. I am not a very good carpenter. So I always ask myself, literally, what do I want to get my PhD in? But I mean that in the sense of, what do I want to learn?
How far do you want to go?
What do I want to learn from this? How far do I need to go with this? Sometimes, if what you want to learn is just how to do a specific thing, then watch a YouTube how-to video.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn how to do something and you want to be able to do it more than once,
right,
like when we're redoing windows here at the house or whenever I'm doing something at work, what do you need to get out of it in order to do that? What do you need to save? When I do those log files now, I have it generate a little mini course for me, the AI. So I can come back later if I haven't done it in a while and I've forgotten how to do it, a little training video.
It happened to us today. It literally happened to us today. There was one issue with one student ID number that we were going, why is this not working? Why is this not working? And all of a sudden I was like, wait a second. This happened to us last year, just one time.
And exactly the same problem.
Exactly the same problem. And it took us a while, but we remembered what it was. But now I have put it in a section to where I know when it happens again, I can just go ask, because I don't want to have to worry about it again next year if it happens that one time.
Yeah, because we're not going to remember it.
Because we're not going to remember it.
So for me, learning is the fun part, but how deep do you want to go in the learning? And the biggest problem I run into, and I guarantee you I'm not the only one that runs into this, the biggest problem I run into is I watch a how-to video and their particular circumstances are just different enough. It looks really close to mine. So I start doing it. And then I get to a point where I'm like, that doesn't apply to me. So what am I supposed to do?
And then you go find another one.
And then I go, well, you used to complain about that when you watched Rachel Ray's cooking things, because she lives in a city. And she'd go, yeah, you go down to the store and you get this. And you're like, I can't get that at my store.
Mm-hmm. The first time it hit me was pre-boiled eggs.
Yeah, I didn't even know such a thing existed. It
Yeah,
sure
I
doesn't
was like,
exist here.
I don't go
We're
to
just
that.
happy when we have eggs. But it's one of those things where you need to learn enough to know what you don't know.
Mhm.
Even if you don't become PhD level expert in the topic, you still need to know enough that you can come back to it and still learn. You've learned something.
Mhm.
And I'm more interested in learning than I am in how-to videos. I'm more interested in learning something new than I am what the news is.
Right. But I mean, that doesn't mean we're not going to tell somebody in a podcast what the number one thing is.
But I'm still going to throw in a little bit of news here and there.
Well, absolutely. And it's something that our listener can go like Google or go figure out on their
Yeah.
own. We're not
Yeah.
going to like dive into the news.
Exactly.
So when the listener starts tuning in and starts telling their friends to come listen to Maurie and Jim, because I mean, where else can you watch a podcast that they're married and they share water and stuff like that?
Hey, you didn't even ask if you could have some of my water.
After 40 years, I don't ask.
I don't think you asked ever too.
You're probably right. What are the listeners actually going to hear when they tune in to Beyond Yet? Every other week. We're going to do this every other week. And the reason we're going to start doing it every other week instead of every week is because when we get ready to start a new project or start a new task or go down a new rabbit hole, it doesn't just take a week to do it sometimes. Sometimes it takes a
again-
little bit of persistence. And one of the things that you love to do is you call it the power of 15. And you've done it for a long time. You always set the floor, not the ceiling, but the floor of, okay, I'm going to do this for 15 minutes. And you set a timer or whatever just so you can focus. And that's typically on things that you don't want to be doing.
Yeah, you used to give me a hard time about that because I would literally set a timer on my watch. And when you have a problem staying focused on stuff and you don't like it, that's like the double whammy.
Mhm.
Not only do I have a hard time focusing, but it's really uninteresting.
Mhm.
Those two for me, it's like that's instead of 2-3 strikes you're out, it's 2 strikes you're out. So I tell myself, and this is where this came from many, many years of
Long
experience.
time ago.
I tell myself I can do anything for 15 minutes.
Anything.
And part of that picking up the thread thing you were talking about is if I have a project, it's a checklist thing that I need to get done. Like you've been using AI tools to figure out what you want our flower beds to look like. I don't like doing flower beds, especially when it's 108 degrees outside. But I can do that typically for 15 minutes. And I've made good progress, but I set a timer on my watch. That's one of my little tricks that I've learned. But again, because our focus is going to be about what can we learn from this and not how do we do this, then it's going to be a little harder for us. That's why we need a couple of weeks. It's not the same as a how-to video. I want practical applications, but I want you to be able to extend that application farther
For yourself.
for the person listening or
Because
watching.
everybody has a different circumstance.
And everybody's got a different goal.
Right.
And maybe I can be part of that goal. Maybe your ideas, because you're fanatic about the house stuff, and I'm trying to make AI tools to help
The elderly.
people and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So we have our own goals. But
Right.
anyway,
So basically, Beyond Yet is going to be one of those situations to where you're going to be able to come to this podcast and you're going to be able to say, okay, I thought about this. Can I do it? And we're going to be saying, yes, you can, because artificial intelligence is there. It's not going anywhere. And if you utilize it correctly, you can start doing things you never, ever thought you could do before.
yeah, the tough part for us, and we're going to drift, because the tough part for us is going to be A, I don't want to be a how-to video. B, I don't want to be a prompt generator, because this is not about AI. It's about creating. If you can
think it,
you
you
can create
can create it.
And that, for me, that has personal meaning,
Mhm.
because my dad loved technology. My late father, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he loved the idea of the future. And the future to my dad was glorious. And he was disappointed in where things had gone with it, because he thought by the time he passed away that like he would be walking around, because he had disability issues. He'd be walking around with an exoskeleton on, which you can buy now. But he always told me that when we're going to really advance technologically is when the you can put something on, you can put something on your head is the way he envisioned it or something. But what he really said was when you can think of something and the computer can help you simulate it, play with it, turn it around, look at it, and then build it, that we're going to advance. We did that the other day.
Yes, we did.
And it was cool.
And we'll talk about that on one of our podcasts.
I mean, that was pretty cool the way we did that.
Mind blowing.
And that was so close to what he said. I mean, I didn't have a neural interface hooked up, but the fact that we did what we did so fast, it's a small thing for most people, but it's significant in the sense of what we learned.
Well,
it's opened up whole new avenues for us.
Stuff starts with that first small step.
Anyway, we can talk about that on a different
We will. So one of the things I want to make sure that everyone understands is that we're going to be doing this every other week. We are going to be formally AI in Action, but the new name is going to be Beyond Yet. And Yet. That's right. If you can think it, you can create it. And as Jim says, look, I even love me a little note card.
Show me a little note card.
Jim.
I had to have notes.
Don't forget your little note card. What's your note card say?
Never say you don't know something. Say I don't know it yet. I'm the one who said that to my staff all the time. I was
afraid that you were going to drift and forget it.
Okay, I do drift some.
Anyway, my name is Maurie. I'm here with my husband, Jim.
Are we done?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'm sure.
You didn't ask me very many questions.
I think we're good. We would love it if you guys would pass on that we are going to be making a couple of changes, and we would absolutely love it if you would go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel, which is still AI in Action. Find us on Spotify, find us on Apple Podcast, Amazon,
I think we're AI Ed Pro on YouTube, aren't we?
All you have to do is look for AI in Action with Maurie and Jim Beasley, and you will find us.
Well, not enough people are finding us.
No,
and we're not AI generated, and we don't generate a script with AI. We don't read a script, but we do try to give you useful information.
Yes, we do. So we hope you guys have a marvelous rest of the next 2 weeks.